Twitter, the social media tool introduced in 2006, is now one of the most popular ways to keep up with friends, see what celebs are up to, and get information. We've seen Twitter's power in the digital revolution, but why do you use Twitter?
A recent study by two Rutgers professors showed that there are two different types of Twitter users, me-formers and informers. For more information on their study, I spoke with the professors about its significance.
And when we did the statistical analysis, it looked like there were two different groups, two clusters of users in terms of their behavior on Twitter. And we looked at the different things that those two groups do, and one of them was posting information sharing tweets, messages. The other one was posting more things that are related to themselves and what they do and what they think. So we call the first group sharing information informers, and the second group that is sharing information about themselves, we call them me-formers. So the me-forming has actually a very good purpose in many cases. So people are perhaps not just like to talk about themselves, but they use this chatter to, for example, maintain social ties. Having said all that, there's also the technical side. When you go to Twitter, it actually asks you, what are you doing? Which almost begs for people to be me-formers, and that's why it's actually interesting that there are a lot of people that are starting to use these platforms as informers and not talk about what they're doing, but rather share information.
Can you give an example of an informer? Are they usually media corporations?
It may be that people in businesses who are posting on behalf of the business may interject some very personal me-former type posts. But I would suspect most of them are information. But again, it remains to be seen. We still have to research that.
An informer, in my contact list on Twitter, I have a lot of people who are informers. They share mostly information that are related to what happens to be things I care about because I follow them. I think media corporations are, we haven't looked at them, but they'll be probably more likely to post information, whether the information is about their products or information that they found that they think is relevant in some way to people who follow them. It still remains to be seen. I think there are different companies. From what I see casually on Twitter, I see different companies use it in different ways.
In your opinion, would you consider the informative news posts from informers who are not a part of corporations a form of public journalism?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not overly familiar with the term public service journalism, although I assume it means telling a kind of story. And so, certainly with the informers, they're sending out information, so they might be sending out links to stories, or their messages in some ways may contain very short stories. It's an interesting question.
Would you consider yourself a me-former or an informer?
In a sense, I'm kind of like the detached social scientist insofar as I'm really interested in what's happening on Twitter, but I don't use it a whole lot myself. And when I do use it, it's mostly me-former type post.
What effect does the social stream have on younger audiences?
I think that the point is the social streams, so we call them in this paper social awareness streams, deliberately to point out the fact that it's an entirely new, significant new way for people to communicate, in a sense. So if we'll see that Facebook and Twitter sustain over the next few years, I think it's an involvement, like we had from the letters to the telephone to email to now social awareness streams.
Almost 80% of Twitter users are classified as me-formers. Does this indicate a lack of public interest in journalism? Or is 140 characters not enough to be a real news platform? I'll let you decide. For RUTV, I'm Jen Gerald.